Hello there.
Hello.
We're back again for another podcast. I'm Wolf.
I'm Toad.
We're back talking about
Stuff.
stuff to do with the Final Fantasy VII remake. There's been two games so far. Like, it was supposed to be a trilogy. So far, we've got Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we've got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is a sequel to the remake, and we're still waiting on details on the third installment. And the reason I want to talk about it is because I've recently picked up Rebirth again after giving it a break for about a year. I didn't end up finishing it just because, not because I thought it was a bad game, but just simply because it's just such an overwhelming game. I don't know, I finished, for those who know, I suppose, I finished just after the section where, you're done with the gold saucer, and I finished up the side quests and stuff in Coral and made it to Gongaga. But then, I don't know, I felt like, man, it wasn't so much that it was a bad game, it was just it's such a huge onslaught of things to do. There's 1,000 different side quests. There's 1,000 different mini games to do and places to see, which is all good, but just a bit overwhelming, if that makes sense. It's
That does.
yeah, I don't know.
Not a game.
It's it's the opposite of the bad thing, really, because it's more gameplay. I mean, more bang for your buck, I suppose, and
It can still feel tiring. For context, I've never played a Final Fantasy game, and I know virtually nothing about them other than, I don't know, spoilers, Aerith gets stabbed. That's literally all I know.
yeah, that's
And maybe some names like Cloud and Tifa Lockhart, and I think that's about it.
I mean, for someone who has never played a Final Fantasy game, it's impressive that you know Tifa's last name.
Thanks.
That
I feel like it's obviously there must be great games. It's really quite pervasive through pop culture, right? Which is all I've sort of picked it up through, early 2000s college humor videos and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, keen to learn.
Well, the good thing about the series is that it doesn't really matter. If you are thinking about trying it out, it's not like you have to play the first one that came out in 1987 and play them chronologically. You can play any of them because each one has its own standalone story with its own unique characters and world and all that sort of stuff. It just has reoccurring things like the chocobo, and typically you'll get an airship at some point or some
Chocobo. Is those little bird things?
Yeah, it's the yellow birds that you run around on.
But so are the characters the same?
They remind me of KFC.
Final Fantasy?
Sorry?
Is it the same characters
No.
in Final Fantasy? Because I think is it 14 or something where they ride around in that black car that can fly?
No, that's 15.
15. Because I know a little bit about that one as well.
Yeah, okay.
Because I know that's all different characters, isn't it?
Yeah, it's completely, each installment, I mean, there have been spin-offs and sequels, and the remake to 7 is technically a sequel to the original. Oh, well, that's what it's...
Because it's got a little bit extra.
And the story itself is kind of deviating a little bit from what we got in the original context. And not to mention as well, Square Enix is a very different company to what it was when it was Square Soft back in 1997.
Yep. Was there a merger or something?
I don't know if it was a merger. I think it was Hironobu Sakaguchi, who is the guy who created the original Final Fantasy. When Squaresoft nearly went bankrupt, Final Fantasy, the reason it's called Final Fantasy is because it was supposed to be Squaresoft's last game, last hurrah before. But because it was actually successful.
Major success, saved them.
Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
yeah, they did bring out some games before them, but they weren't as commercially successful as.
How many Final Fantasy games have there been since what was meant to be the last one?
First one? Ironically, it was supposed to be the last game, but it was the beginning of something something big because, it's probably I wonder We were just talking about the Guinness Books of Records before.
Mm.
I wonder. Would be surprised if.
Surely it's got the most game iterations then in a mainline franchise.
Yeah, like it would have to be
Close at
up
least.
there with one of the longest running franchises of a game. Yeah, but anyway, but yeah, I personally really like the remake. Like I feel like it's kind of building upon what we already got in the original. To to more an extent where characters just have like extra layers to them. They're not as just they're not just throwaway characters. Particularly like Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse. Like they had a bit more of a pivotal role than just being a group of people that just die within the first. Or spoilers here, but
Is that what happens originally?
Originally in 7, or just to give you an idea of I suppose a big difference between the Final Fantasy VII remake and the original is that the whole of the first game takes place in Midgar, which is which is one city in the world of the Final Fantasy VII, like world building or whatever. It's just one area, one town, and the whole game of the remake just takes place in Midgar. Whereas in the original, Midgar was probably the first 20 minutes or an hour.
Yeah, right. That's a massive change.
It is a big change. Yeah. That's one thing that critics like.
I wonder why they've done that.
Yeah, some critics were disappointed about that because the whole, which I understand that a little bit because
Wanting the same game again, but prettier.
because the whole idea or what people have come accustomed to with a Final Fantasy game is that it's supposed to be a big world that you go out and explore and you would be rewarded for exploring and doing.
But that's not what the remake is like.
The remake is kind of because it's only confined in Midgar, and Midgar's just sort of all it is a city, and it's just a circular city.
So it's Legend ZA. They've made it Pokemon Legend ZA.
Maybe. For those who have played that, I have not played Pokemon. I'm probably the only member of my generation that's never been.
Not into Pokemon.
Well, yeah, I just don't care that much about it. Unless if they were to with Pokemon Go and stuff, just putting it out there, just to give maybe Elon Musk or people just more motivation to go somewhere, to Mars. Why not put a Pokemon on Mars or the Marianas Trench, just a legendary badass Pokemon that you can only get if you go there? Wouldn't that just give humanity just that little bit extra motivation to want to get their shit together?
If just getting a shiny Rayquaza is the only reason humans go to Mars, we don't deserve to go to Mars.
Exactly. Well, hey, I mean, sign me up. I'd be frig. I don't know. And frig.
Or just spoof as well, but I get you. If you could somehow make it so that it's impossible to spoof your location, you have to be on Mars.
Yeah.
Or it's not going to work. You have to be at the bottom of the Marianas Trench.
That is true. Well, yeah.
The only person who could do that is God, though, by putting not a satellite obviously, but a Wi-Fi modem at the bottom of the Marianas Trench or on Mars is the only way that would work, right?
Well, couldn't they do it from a satellite or something?
Yeah, I mean they could. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not like everywhere where there's a Pokemon, there's a thing there.
Nowhere there is, but I'm saying in these places where I'm just assuming that cell signals don't reach to the bottom of the ocean. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure they don't go to Mars. I know for a fact they don't get there quickly if they do go there.
Well, look, I'm not
if they send it now, it'll beat us there for sure.
I'm not like a communications expert, okay? It's just I don't know.
No, look, I'm not criticising. I just wonder if there are a few things you haven't entirely thought through.
And also, look, like I said, I'm not all that into Pokemon, and maybe the other people aren't either. So maybe it won't be the motivation.
Who's going to Mars at that point, right? Pokemon Go motivates people to walk.
Yeah,
feel.
it got me out of the house for a while. Like, I don't know.
But I don't think the reason we haven't gone to Mars is a lack of motivation. Maybe lack of incentive, I guess.
Well, people
Lack of funding.
are motivated to go there, sure, but
Donald Trump would probably be keen to start funding it if it means he can get a shiny Rayquaza or something.
yeah,
Sure.
but not if there's a mosque on Mars.
Yeah, anyway.
Anyway, but
I love a kettle of fish.
huh? Oh yeah, I
Like,
thought you were
different topic.
referencing the band there. But no, but anyway, back on topic. The Final Fantasy VII remake. I just wanted to like talk about it because, you know, like I just wanted to address some of the criticisms that it's had over the years, which I feel like some are valid. I guess like with the first one with the world exploration thing, like yeah, fair enough. Like you want to, but having said that though, like the battle system, like the mechanics just feel so fluid and fucking exciting to me. Like I like the fact that it's when like a boss battle is more challenging than just like I know like for someone who's never played it, like you might not understand the context, but like I like the fact that you can't just sit there and spam summons or limit breaks at an enemy. You kind of have to think tactically a little bit. Like you have to like dodge out of a way of something and then come back in and then
Can't just cheese it.
yeah, and use abilities that kind of like make sense depending on the situation you're in. You can't just like you can use limit breaks, but it takes a long time for the limit break gauge to actually fill. When it does fill, you kind of have to go. Oh, and also same with summons. Like you can only use a summon at certain. Like there's a gauge as well that slowly fills, and then you summon the summon, and it's Ifrit or Bahamut or Shiva or something like that. And it comes down and it fights with you for a little bit. Like you can get the summon to do an ability that does a little bit of damage, but until like the summon meter disappears, like a wick from an explosive. Once that disappears, the summon then goes into like does this big badass cutscene move and like just does it like a fair bit of damage, but it only does it after a certain amount of time, or unless the character who summoned it dies for any reason, or just
That
gets
will also do its big boom.
it's like, and it just and as well as the limit break, which is sort of like each character has this sort of like special like move that also does a lot of damage or gives like your party a few buffs and all that sort of stuff. Like it gives you like it's just an opportunity to turn the tide of the battle. Like I've played the game so many times that I've been in situations where like my back's up against a wall, like I'm just I'm struggling to keep alive. Like all I'm doing is like healing myself and just hoping I don't get hit. But then all of a sudden, limit break's popped, and then bang! It's just this limit break is enough to at least pressure or stagger the enemy, which means I can just wail on them for. And it just, it just feels so rewarding and exciting taking down a boss because it's like each boss fight, like it feels like they go on for like 20 minutes. And I don't know, like I find that exciting and I find it just, like it doesn't need to be turn-based for it to be a good game. And
so let's talk about that. What are the main criticisms that people are having?
Well, people feel like it needs to be turn-based for it to be a good game, which I feel like is unfair.
Is that just because historically Final Fantasy were turn-based?
Historically they were, but the only reason they were turn-based was so that, because the technology at the time couldn't really compensate with like the vast amount of spells and abilities that you got. To choose to use at any given time. Like, so it made sense that it was turn-based, but it doesn't make sense for it to be turn-based anymore.
Since technology's caught up.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, like, I have nothing against turn-based. Like, I play chess quite often. Like, chess is a turn-based game, and most card games are turn-based games, and, but I don't know, like, I've played Expedition 33, Claire Obscure's Expedition 33, the new indie game from Sandfall that yeah, that's a beautiful game. And yeah, turn-based has its place, but
I find in an open world exploration game, depending on the combat system, making it turn based can make it feel really stunted. If everything's super fluid and you can explore anywhere, and then it's just like the second you bump into something or it catches your eyesight, it's just like bang, you're transported to a different world that has a menu and you'd start interacting with the world in a completely different way, and I find that really like jarring.
Yeah,
That's done.
I see what you mean there. Yeah,
I think there's a reason there aren't many games that do that.
Well,
right? Like
although
Skyrim, traditional RPG, it's not every time you see a Draugr that you got to go to a new menu. Right?
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Skyrim because, like, yeah, like Skyrim, I don't hear anyone complaining about Skyrim. Like when Skyrim has pretty much very similar mechanics. Like again, like it's not turn based, and again, like you do the thing of freeze framing and like choosing what weapons or spells you want to use, and
yeah, there's nothing wrong with just trying something new as well. Like Pokemon, probably the best example I can think of. Traditionally turn-based game, like super core concept, but in the recent Legends titles, they've tried doing a new system that's more like, like if you were having a fight in the real world. I know Pokemon don't exist, but like I don't know how it happens in the anime, and it's great. They're more successful than the mainline ones, arguably at the moment. In my opinion, better games than like Scarlet and Violet.
yeah, and honestly, the thing that I kind of like that I find really toxic as well is that when this is just social media and it is what it is, but like when people come onto like forum spaces that are dedicated to a game that and so like naturally people who are fans of that game are going to gravitate towards those forum spaces because they want to be part of that community. They want to
Sure.
but then you've got people who come in and like try to ruin the experience for other people by like just trying to convince people who like the game that they're toxic for liking it, and also I think really because I know there's been a lot of criticisms of Final Fantasy in recent years because they have done things that are a bit what some would call woke, but the only wokeness that I've seen in the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is just that there's a few seconds where you don't see as much of Tifa's chest as you did in the original, or there's not, like she's not sexualized as much as in the original. Apparently, I didn't even know this about the original, that like because there's kind of a flashback scene where you can that you're playing in. And there's a moment where you go into Tifa's room and, look through her underwear drawer and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I didn't even know that about the original.
But they cut that out.
Well, not explicitly, but all they did was make it so you can't see her undergarments and stuff like that.
Fuck, you serious? The woke mind virus.
I know, right?
Again,
right? But it's like, first of all, like, who cares? And second, like...
Quite worrying if you do care.
And also as well, in that cutscene, in that flashback, Tifa's a 16-year-old girl, man.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, like, not saying that, like, I'm sure, like, there are genuine criticisms of the new game. Like, for me, it's mostly, with Rebirth in particular, it's just very, very overwhelming. There's just so, like, the onslaught of mini games and like side quests to do and all that sort of stuff. It just feels like
it's too much, right? You get fatigued.
But having said that though, like the characters are great. Like the dialogue is really like it feels very genuine, and I love the fact that it's there's what I've personally really always really loved about Final Fantasy is that for each installment, every story, like, it's really well written, but there's a lot of parts of the elements of each story that sort of leave the audience guessing a little bit. There's just some questions that just don't get answered. Right. Like, for a long time, although the devs have confirmed a fair bit of it, there was a big debate as to which is Cloud's real love interest. Is it Aerith or Tifa? and the devs have decided it's Tifa, but
she's the one who keeps being alive. Or...
But the fact that like at the end of the day, it's really up to the player as to who they get to go on a date with at certain points of the story.
Yeah.
And
like any RPG ever.
Yeah, but also, I don't know, but like going back to like just criticisms of the game, like I feel like, fair enough, like with Midgar, like there's not much exploring to do, and some of it can be a bit tedious as far as the side quests and side challenges and all that sort of stuff. But for people like who are complaining because the game is too like woke because of reasons for reasons like that, it's just like, what are your priorities really in a game? Like
what's the point? What are you trying to prove?
It's like when for me, a good game is a game with great battle mechanics, good story, great characters. That's genuinely a fun game, and as overwhelming as Rebirth is, like the game is still like awesome mechanically. Like I don't know, like it's just but that's just I just wanted to use this podcast to address these critics, and
to address these critics,
and it's just
get your point across.
Get my point across because, this is the internet, and if internet trolls get to have their say, I get to have mine. And
only fair.
But yeah. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.